Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming a video featuring the new collection from BH Cosmetics. So if you want to see swatches, an eye look, here's some first impression thoughts, then just keep watching. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. My name is Karen Harris. I like to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on my channel. I just moved, so my background is a work in progress. Okay, I need to make my way to a Marshall's or a TJ Maxx, find myself some things to put in the background, convince my husband to help me. There's a lot of steps, but anyway, if you like new makeup, if you like new eyeshadow palettes, if you want to know if these products are tan girl friendly, see swatches on my skin tone, then this is the place for you. Highly recommend subscribing, turning on that post notification bell because I post quite often. And without further blabbering, let's get into it. Okay, so I have my foundation on and I have bronzer on, but I didn't do blush or eyeshadow, so I did pick up two things from the Doja Cat BH collaboration. I honestly think I shopped too fast and I wish I had taken the time to look at what else they had, but it's okay because I don't need to buy any more lipstick or anything like that. But here is the eyeshadow palette. So this is called the Doja Cat Mega 36 color eyeshadow palette. And it says, take your eye looks on a mystical adventure with Mega 36 color shadow palette. This ultra pigmented array comes complete with floral inspired cool tones, nude hues, plus pops of color in trippy, matte, and sumptuous shimmer finishes. Includes a mirror for easy application on every journey. I just think this packaging is honestly really cute. It says on the back here that this is bulk made in Taiwan, filled and assembled in China, has a 24-month shelf life, Leaping Bunny certified vegan formulas, and extra clean. So I just think this packaging is so stunning. It's probably the prettiest packaging I've seen BH do, honestly. And then here is the mirror. And then here are the eyeshadows. Now, as far as the shades go, I don't know if I love the color story. I can't help but compare this to the palette from last year, the Naughty palette, which was a bigger palette. And I think I like that color story better, just like initial first impression. But of course, we're gonna try this out. And then here is the Poppy Face palette. This is the Powder Blush Trio. And I just picked up one. I really wanted the one that had the yellow blush in it. But again, like I said, I couldn't decide based off of the pictures on the BH website if I wanted this one or the other one would be too dark or something like that. So I did go with this one, which is fine. There's this beautiful orange shade, of course, that I'll probably try out, and two other more neutral kind of blushes. So lots of things to do with this collection. So I'm going to stop talking and start swatching because we've got 36 eyeshadows to swatch. That's going to take me a long time. So let's see here. I haven't swatched these at all. So I'm very curious to see how I end up feeling about this palette. The last palette I bought from BH were the two birthstones. I think the emerald and the peridot one. I got the one for September. I got sapphire. I haven't tried that on my eyes yet. And now I got this Doja Cat one. So we'll have to see because the birthstone palettes really were so good. Standards are pretty high. So the first two rows are kind of like a very soft pastel vibe, as you can see here. So I'll just tell you guys the shade names. There's Bamboo, we have Empower, Dream, Stellar, Cosmo, Magic, Blossom, Moss, Rust, Divine, Shelter, and Growth. Those are kind of interesting colors. Definitely not things that I'm really interested in. Very pastel dream vibes, which I think is really fun for kind of the spring, summertime. Very music festival vibes. So the third and fourth rows are neutral and pinks. And so we have Mystic, Galaxy, Rome, Flora, Dynasty, Fauna, Sunflower, Lily, Flourish, Orchid, Hunt, and Mystery. So now I've swatched 4 of the rows in this palette. So far, I haven't gotten to those shades that are heavy beautiful duochrome metallics from BH that I really love. So I have a feeling this formula is a little bit different from the Weekend and the Travel Palette series that they've done that I really like. And I feel like just from the way these feel, they don't feel as pigmented as the Birthstone palettes either. So I will pull out my like entire BH Cosmetics collection after I do my eye look and we'll just kind of compare a little bit. But yeah, overall these are swatching nicely, but they definitely don't pack that major punch that I'm used to with some of my other favorite BH palettes. Okay, so now we're gonna swatch my favorite rose, which is like the cool tone blues and greens, and hopefully these ones have some impressive shades. So I'm happy to report that the last two rows actually swatched the best in my humble opinion. I swatched them exactly as I did the other ones. And as you can see here, the metallics are pretty pigmented. There's basically a whole row of shimmers except the purple shade in the middle of the fifth row is a matte, and then the last row is all matte, and they are so gorgeous. So I kind of have an idea of an eye look I want to do, but let me just give you the names of the shades. So the shade Fern is that first green shade. Then we have the shade Lush, which swatch magnificently. That's definitely going to go on my lids. I have Lair. Jasmine is that matte shade I was telling you guys about. We have Transform, we have Starlight, we have Strength, we have Wild, Feline, Nightshade, Venus, and Canopy. So this is row 5 and 6 of the BHX Doja Cat palette, and I will say right off the bat, this is my favorite row for sure. I haven't played with a white in my crease, so I think I might try that shade Feline in my crease just because I'm really curious to see what I can do with that, like if it'll help kind of brighten up my crease or help mix some of these shades. So it'll be very, very fun to play with that shade. And then let me really quick swatch the face palette as well. So we have the 3 shades here. I don't think these have names like the eyeshadow palette does, but you bet I'm so excited for this orange shade. And I think it blends out really quite nicely. So if you kind of want something a little bit different, these shades do have kind of a different vibe. So this is the Poppy face palette. I didn't get the other two. I think there's like a lighter one and a darker one, and I kind of got this one because I thought it was kind of a good medium shade for my skin tone. So those are the only 2 things I got. There's also like a brush set and lippies and 3 mini eyeshadow palettes as well with 4 shades in each of those. I did go ahead and pass on that stuff, but I will link everything in my description box in case you guys want to shop. Those links will be affiliates, so I will make a small commission, and that goes right back into my channel. So I really appreciate you guys using my links. It really helps me out. It really helps me shop for my channel, which is so, so awesome. But yeah, you guys, this row is definitely my favorite. Is anybody surprised? And yeah, I'm gonna definitely be playing with the shades from this row, I think. Okay, so I'm really excited. I think I'm gonna play with these shades down here, and I wanna go into the shade Moss as a crease color because I think it's so pretty. So I'm gonna use that to start off the eye look. And I'm just gonna do the same look on both eyes. I know sometimes it's fun to do 2 different looks and like really try and maximize the amount of eye looks. But this palette has 36 eyeshadows, and most likely I will never be able to use them all on my channel, but I have a feeling I'm gonna start a rumor that if you guys request hard enough, I'm sure Heather Austin will do 7 eye looks with this palette. So go check her out if you haven't already. I know she did 7 looks with the Naughty palette. And so yeah, that's all I got for that. Anyways, next I want to try the shade Feline, which is that white shade. And I'm going to throw that on the inner corner and blend it into Moss. I don't know if BH will do a holiday collection. What do you guys think? Do you think they'll do another palette? I mean, I guess there's still time, but I wasn't expecting them to do 2 celeb collabs, like kind of almost back to back, like because they did Iggy and BH, and now they have Doja Cat, and it's very hip and cool. I mean, all the kids, you know, probably really into that stuff. I personally don't listen to a ton of music anymore because I don't really commute, and that's like really the only time I would listen to like the radio, but I am familiar with Doja Cat's music, so it's very interesting. I think I prefer Dua Lipa and Lizzo if I had to pick, but hey, whatever floats your boat. Okay, I'm gonna go into the shade Wild, which swatch really pretty. It was like super duper pigmented, and I'm just gonna throw that on the outer corner here. Gosh, that shade is so pretty. I love a good like tealy blue green shade. I would have had this video up earlier today, but my husband kind of sprang a favor on me. He asked me to come help him at work, which if you guys are new, you might not know this, but we used to work together. And I ended up kind of leaving close to when I got pregnant. And so now I work from home, but he wanted my help in the office. So I went in, and that kind of took up a big portion of my day. So I'm filming this at like 4 o'clock in the evening, but I think I'm going to be able to post it tonight. If I get to edit it, I'll post it tonight. Otherwise, tomorrow morning will be when you see this, but that's cute. Very, very cute. I feel like Moss has now been taken over by this teal shade called Wild. I guess I can add a little bit more just to make Moss feel like it's not being left out. 3 mattes are so pretty. I really like them. And they're playing really nicely together, in my humble opinion. So I do have a bit of fallout, but I can clean that off with a brush. So I'm going to leave that like that. And now I want to do a lid shade. So I think I really want to use the shades possibly Fern, definitely Lush, maybe the shade Empower. It'll be interesting to see how that does on my lid. But let's start off with Lush, and I'm just grabbing the Sigma brush from the Cinderella collection. By the way, did you guys end up picking anything up from the Cinderella collection? You'll have to let me know. I know a lot of you really enjoyed the video I posted, so thank you so much for watching that and supporting my little channel here on the YouTubes. I really love Sigma's eyeshadow formula, so I'm so happy that I got a chance to play with that palette for you guys and get a review up. So you'll have to tell me if you ended up shopping the collection, and if so, what you got from the collection. Ooh, this shade is so pretty. Okay, so I'm purposely avoiding the inner corner and just putting this on the section where the blues and teals kind of are, because if I put this color on the white, it's gonna be hard for me to get that lighter shimmer to pop. So I kind of purposely left it towards the outer corner of the eyes. And now I'm just cleaning off the brush, and I'll go into Empower with the same brush, give it a nice spray, and I'm gonna put that on the inner corner. So this one is more like a, I mean, it's definitely a shimmer, but it's definitely more like a satin shimmer. Whereas Lush is definitely more like a heavier kind of metallic shade. So I'm trying to just like tap them so there's like a decent blend between the shimmer and the metallic there. And I'm just adding a little bit more white because I feel like it lost its pigmentation there, and a ton of fallout even though I've been wetting my brush. So I'm just gonna try and clean that off a bit. The lower lash line on this side's got quite a bit of blue eyeshadow on it, but I think we'll be able to make it work when we do our lower lash line. So I'm going to stop with the shades Lush and Empower for now. And I should try the shade Layer in the inner corner too. It's like a pretty purpley color. Amp up the sparkle. Not really. Not really, but it was worth a shot. Okay, I'm trying to contemplate if I should add Fern, which is the metallic green. I think I'm gonna just leave it alone. I'm just gonna leave it alone and try and add some extra sparkle on the inner corner and see how that goes instead. So I'm just gonna grab a flat brush, kind of like a dense flat brush from Wet n Wild. This is just like a cheapy one, and I'm gonna go into the shade Dynasty just to highlight the brow bone. That's pretty. I feel like that would be a pretty highlighter shade. I might have to try that as a highlighter on my skin tone. But anyway, just kind of went all over there. And now, of course, we have to do the lower lash line. So I got my favorite lower lash line brush, and I'm gonna use this shade from ColourPop. This is the shade Zulu, and it's like a pastel blue. This eye look, I was thinking, should I do a contrasting color? But it was sitting right on top, which I feel like was the sign that I needed to know that I should do a blue lower lash line as well. So I'm going to go straight into Wild and really pick that up on this brush and pull that in about 2/3 of the way. That color is so pretty. I'm not saying you should buy this whole palette for that blue because it's really not worth it for that. But at least it kind of makes me feel a little bit better about my purchase, having that really pretty blue shade in this palette. Okay, so I think that's about that for there. And then I'm going to go into the shade Feline, which is the matte white shade. And I'm just going to blend from the inner corner to about halfway, just to brighten up the lower lash line as well. I have to wipe my brush off every time I dip into a shadow because my eyes tear up and I don't want to get like hard pan on my shadow, so I just wipe my brush off in between. Now I'm going to go into the shade Flourish, which is this really pretty, like very sparkly purple shade, and I'm just going to lay that in the inner corner because I don't think it has much of a base. It's like a lilac, but when I blend it, it looks more like a clear, but like heavy sparkle. So I'm just using that as my very sparkly inner corner highlight because I think it looks really fun. It's definitely a very sparkly shadow, so it diffused really nicely in that area and I really like it. So basically the eye look is done, so let's go ahead and test out this face palette really quick and try that shade Dynasty as a highlighter as well. Since we're all here, why not? And I'm just gonna grab this Sigma Soft Blend 60 brush. This is clean, so man, I really want to do the orange shade, but I'm wondering, let me start off with the neutral shade here in the middle of the palette. Let's see how pigmented this shade is. Ooh, that's so pretty. See, the thing I love about BH face products is they're very pigmented and they don't charge a lot of money for their blushes and stuff. So if you kind of want something affordable, I would definitely steer you towards checking out their face palette, especially the ones from the travel series that have like the blushes and the highlighters. Those ones are like 18 bucks and you get like massive amounts of product. So It's nice if you don't have a huge collection to go for something like this. Okay, now I'm gonna attempt the orange. I think it'll mix pretty well together. This is so pretty. I wonder if my friend Angie got this face palette because I know she loves orange blush just as much as I do, and I feel like she would love this. So there's that on that, and then I'm just gonna take my Sigma highlighter brush and I'm gonna go into the shade Dynasty from the eyeshadow palette, and I'm just gonna highlight my cheekbones and my Cupid's bow and my chin and my forehead right here. That's working perfectly with my skin tone, so no complaints there at all. And so that's that on that. And then I'm gonna use my Alien Cosmetics lipstick that I just got in the mail yesterday. I used the shade Leaves in yesterday's video with the Alien palette, the Fairy Frolic. That was hard to say. So today I want to try out Pumpkin because I was not able to use this yesterday. So I have to give credit where credit is due, and I saw that Alien had reposted Britt Clark saying that these were really good, so it encouraged me to try out the lipsticks because I'd only really tried out their eyeshadows before this, and so I bought their blush and highlighter as well as 2 of their lipstick shades, and I will say these are really nice. They do have a few more colors, and I might potentially throw those in my cart in a future order, but for now I'm so glad I got the 2 shades I got. I know this video isn't about Alien Cosmetics, but this color is so pretty for fall, and I am going to be wearing this all week long. I said I'm going to do like a shop my stash, and I'm going to put the Alien products in there, and I think like this combo is going to be epic for the week, so I'm very, very excited, and it's drying out beautifully. So I'm going to spray my face, put some mascara on, and I'll be right back to talk to you guys about the new BH Cosmetics stuff I just tried out. Okay guys, so here is the final look with some mascara thrown on, and I really like the blue eyeshadow, of course, so I definitely gravitated towards it. You can easily say I'm very biased when it comes to those shades, but I definitely plan on playing with this like more neutrally row. I'm not gonna lie, I can't really see myself using this top 2 rows unless I want to kind of incorporate some of the lighter shades and do some kind of eye look, but there's definitely a lot of possibilities with this palette. You can kind of break it into some beautiful quads. I can definitely see each of these is a quad kind of on its own, because if you look like that would be a beautiful eye look. This is like a light neutral eye look, a beautiful lilac look, and there's definitely some thought put into this layout. So if you see palettes like this and you're easily overwhelmed, definitely break it up in your head to those quads. You can also definitely go down each row and create an eye look. So go this way and create like a beautiful fall greens and browns neutral look, some mauvey blue look, which is what I did yesterday with the Fairy Frolic palette. So lots of really good options with the layout. I will say I did notice that at first, but now that I see it, I think this is going to open up so much potential for beginners out there. I do feel like BH does cater to beginners because their palettes are typically more affordable. Now this palette is a little bit more than what we're used to. I think this is like a $36 palette, but it makes sense because it's a celebrity collaboration, so obviously people have to get paid. You can't just, you know, go off and make a palette with a celebrity and expect to not see a price increase. I did grab a stack of palettes from my BH collection. I went through and just pulled a few things that I wanted to show you guys. So here is last year's holiday palette. This is called the Naughty. There's also a nice palette. I didn't get that one because the shades didn't really appeal to me, but to me, this palette has those like really nice, like creamy metallics that BH is known for. And in this Doja palette, I definitely only felt that in that shade Lush that I used on my lid. So here's just a little side by side. The Naughty palette was so popular last year, and I think for good reason, because it has those really, really nice mattes that BH does and a lot of beautiful neutrals, which I think is such a hit for, again, beginners and people that like to wear more neutral eyeshadow, which some days I love neutral eyeshadow. So I love that it kind of has options. I don't think you can buy this one anymore, so I don't really think there's a ton of point in me comparing this, but it is definitely a nice palette and I'm happy I have it. And this one is a interesting color story. It's kind of giving me Jaclyn Hill vibes from the first collab she did with Morphe, if I'm being honest, but that's just because there's like a bunch of like teals and stuff in that palette. So I did grab the BFF palette and I just wanted to show you guys the side by side. I know some people really, really love this BFF palette, so if you have this one, maybe you don't necessarily need the Doja Cat one. But I will say I grabbed some of my favorite BH palettes, and I just think like the formula of these, for example, far superior to what I felt using the Doja palette. So I did grab my sugar cone palettes or ice cream shop palettes or whatever these are called. These have some of the most beautiful mattes and metallics in them. I actually grabbed the neutral one because the neutral one is the only one I didn't have and it was in stock. So I'm like, okay, fine, let me grab the neutral one with my BH order. So I did end up picking this one up. So if you have these palettes, you really probably never need another eyeshadow palette because they really cover the spectrum of like multi-chrome eyeshadows when they launched this collection. Definitely one of my favorites from BH. And then, of course, I had to grab Passion in Paris. Now, this is the palette that I like just think of when I'm comparing the metallics. So, for example, let me just swatch some metallics from this palette because I just think this is so beautiful. So look at how pigmented these are. And they're just so easy to throw on your lid. And then let me just swatch Lush, Transform, and maybe like Flourish from the Doja palette. So there's the three from that palette. And so as you can see, Lush is really the only one that kind of swatch with that same like as the ones from the Passion in Paris palette. So I felt like I noticed that right away. Maybe I'm just being very picky. I don't know. I mean, this palette's nice, but it's just not that good formula I'm used to. And then of course the Blueberry Muffin, because before Passion in Paris came along, this was definitely high up there. I think Passion in Paris definitely dethroned my Blueberry Muffin as one of my favorites. And then from the Sade collection, these ones have an awesome formula as well. They're so pigmented. And I was honestly thinking you could probably do this eye look or something very similar with this color story because the pastels in this palette are wonderful. So I really like this collection. And then of course I grabbed the Birdstone palettes because these ones are like $9 and they come out once a month. And I have these two with me. My Sapphire one is in my haul basket waiting for me to show you guys in my September haul video when I filmed that. But yeah, I think the metallics in these ones are also stellar. We're so used to those awesome pigmented BH metallics that I feel like I can almost feel it when I just put them on my finger. When I swatch them, I can tell if it's like that awesome formula or if it's just like an okay formula or if it's like the really crappy cheap formula from back in the day. I haven't seen that in a while in BH palettes, but I feel like this is definitely kind of in the in-between kind of formula. It's not the worst and it's definitely not the best. So I would suggest if you are wanting to try BH for the first time, go with one of the other palettes I showed in this video. Otherwise, if you like the color story of this palette, if you like big palettes, if you like Doja Cat, then you will probably really like this palette or be really happy with the collaboration. And like I said, these are all easily broken into quads. So if you are so overwhelmed, just break it down into smaller sections and you'll be able to do some really beautiful eye looks. I can guarantee that, because everything in this palette has 2 mattes and 2 shimmers. So you can easily do eye looks with all of those little quads. And like I said, you can even go down the rows or go this way. You can do tons of beautiful looks. So those are kind of my first impression thoughts on this new collection from BH Cosmetics. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Let me know, did you pick anything up from this collection? You guys know I love chatting to you in my comment section. Tomorrow's video is most likely going to be the Pat McGrath Celestial Odyssey palette, because mine is supposed to be here either today or tomorrow, fingers crossed. If the UPS gods are kind to me, it says it's out for delivery. It hasn't been delivered yet, but I did just get an email from Pat McGrath saying the rest of the holiday collection is launching tomorrow. So I'm gonna go and check that out, see if I want to pick anything else up from the holiday collection, maybe that highlighter. We'll see. I'm very curious to see the rest of that collection. Other than that, I think I said everything I wanted to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video tomorrow. Bye guys!